Hey friends, welcome to Steady. This practice will be strong, but not too long. When we're moving to peak pose practices, we spend the majority of our time waking up targeted areas in the body and focusing layers of the mind so that we will have success with steadiness and ease to open up to whatever that peak pose is. Today, my intention is to wake up your body and your breath right away so that we can start to move into that layer of our own trust capacity. So we'll really be able to find the strength and steadiness in these postures that are to come. Have fun with it. You'll be able to do this one a number of times if you're interested to find greater revision and little places that you can play. We're going to start down on our back, so when you're ready, find your way down there. When you get onto your back body, you can place the legs however it is that makes sense to you to land. You can either stretch the legs out long or keep knees bent with feet to the floor. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands to rest somewhere on your body. I'm going to keep mine on the space of my lower belly. And then rest the space of your head and your upper back. And begin to really move your breath. And the first couple of breaths generally help us to sweep some of the cobwebs away, helping to land us into this space where we might be able to let the dust of our day settle. As we rest into the knowing of the breath, it is a really beautiful thing when we can begin to start expanding it so it's a little bit longer, it's a little bit deeper. It lets a little bit more go every time we exhale. And although we know it to be true, sometimes we need the reminder that the practice of yoga really is a full scope practice. It includes movement of the body through asana, of course, but also awareness and participation with our breath through our pranayama practices. Observance of ourselves and how we move through the opening layers of the practice of our yamas and niyamas. And steadying and focusing the mind with an inward turn through pratyahara, until eventually through layers of concentration and meditation we end up in this place of our own known bliss. As we breathe through the physical layers of our body here, the big reminder and the big invitation is to remember that we're opening into ourselves in every way. And when your next exhale comes, you'll let your hands fall off your body. And if your knees are not already bent, bend them so your feet can walk onto the floor. And then keeping the back of the shoulders and the hips level, you're gonna slowly lift the feet up off the mat so your shins almost run parallel to the ceiling. And then wait for your next exhale and curl your head and your shoulders up off the mat as well. I like to point my fingertips toward the front edge of the mat. So as you do this, we're right away going to be waking up at the very center core of the body. And what I would love you to feel is there is an intentional pull of the belly back toward the spine so that we have a real refinement in how it is that we engage this lower space of deep core body that holds our spine. Now you can stay here, particularly if you're already starting to kind of feel a shake in the belly or the arms, or if it feels manageable, you're going to start to straighten the legs out. And the more you start to straighten the legs, the more intense this becomes and the more difficult it becomes to keep the belly drawn down. And we don't want it to be too intense in the space of low back, particularly to begin. So wherever you are, take one more big breath. Good, and then with an exhale, you're gonna lower your head and your shoulders down to the mat, hug your knees all the way in towards you and take a little rock or a sway. Now, if it's available to you, you're gonna take a rock on your feet, pop up onto your seat, but make sure that your sit bones are balanced just so you could sparkle your fingertips forward and lift up through your feet through boat pose. As I said, we're gonna wake up our body and our breath right away. Pull the chest forward, draw the belly back, and then the next time you exhale, you're gonna open your boat wide, so kick your feet away from you. Good, inhale and pull all the way up, knees toward the chest. Exhale, open to its length. Inhale, pull it up. We're gonna do 3 more. Exhale to open. Inhale to pull up. Exhale to open. Inhale to pull up. One more time. Exhale to open. Inhale to pull up, and then you're gonna keep the feet expanded and you're gonna exhale to open to a point that you could re-rest the space of your upper back to the floor. Take 1 more big breath in, and then inhale and pull everything in towards you. Little rock and a sway. This time you're gonna put your hands down beside your hips and slowly extend the soles of your feet toward the sky. Pull your heels back down towards your sit bones so that there's a lengthening through the muscles that ride all the way along the rim of the back of your legs. And then with an inhale, as we had done before, you're gonna peel your head and your shoulders up off the mat. Now reaching through your fingertips, pulling your chest forward, draw your belly back, and as you exhale, you're gonna start to lower the right heel toward the floor in a bit of a hover. Good, inhale to lift this foot up to meet its pair, and then exhale to lower. Good, inhale to lift back up, and then exhale to lower. And staying with this cycle, so every inhale extends and every exhale presses away, or if you feel like you want a little bit more spice, every breath can be a change. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both feet up, hug in, take a little rock and a sway. When you're ready to rock and roll on your seat, come all the way up. We'll flip everything around and find tabletop pose facing the front of the mat. Wide spread of the fingers, and as we usually do, we'll take a few sweeps of cat-cow to release the belly in the back. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, push the floor away and round. Find 2 more, really lengthen out the breath and use that as an opportunity to stretch out these strong muscles. And 1 more time. And good, as you inhale, begin to lift your gaze forward, and this time adjust your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. And as we typically do, make space to tuck your toes, keep connected through your hands, and lift your hips up really nice and high to a downward facing dog. Now, what I would love for this practice is that there is some symmetry between your downward dog and your plank pose. So the next time you inhale, I'd love you to push forward on your toes until your shoulders collect up over your wrists. And if you feel like you need to space feet back behind you to have a full length of plank, do that. And then as you exhale, pull your hip crease back and find downward facing dog. Good, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, press forward, strong plank, chest forward, femur bones lift. Exhale, draw back, down dog. 1 more time like that. Inhale, pulse forward. And then exhale, draw back. Good, this time, as you inhale and pulse forward, you're gonna pause in your plank pose. And so today, as we lower our plank, I would love you to notice all the parts that work. So not just strong legs, strong arms, strong belly, but the dexterity that you can find pushing forward on your toes and through your ankle joint. The next time you exhale, you're gonna hug your elbows in towards your sides and letting tricep and bicep lead you come all the way down smooth. Good, inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, bow your chest straight down to the mat. And we're gonna find a little bit more spice. Tuck your toes under, keep your elbows tracking into center. With an inhale, push back up to plank. And then exhale, draw back to downward facing dog. Good, big breath in and a full body breath out. So we're gonna do the same thing. And if the slow release of your push-up is what you're working on, that's what I'd love you to continue working on. If you're interested to come with me through a bit of a hover, we're gonna work toward Chaturanga Dandasana. With an inhale, you'll push forward to an upper plank pose. And then pushing forward on your toes, you're either gonna come halfway or all the way. Good, inhale to up dog. If you've hovered halfway, straighten the arms, pull the tips of the arm bones back. And then let's meet in downward dog. Flip over the toes and pull the hips up nice and high. Big, long, fluid breath in and a full breath out. Awesome. Look towards your hands, come forward. Walk or take a big step and come to the top of the mat. Come halfway up when you land here. And then exhale and let it go. Good, arms to the sky, big bright inhale. Hands to the center, come down. We're gonna bring our feet to a place that we're sure they're no wider than the outer hips. Really plugging down through all four corners of the feet. Space the body out with a big inhale, upward hand pose. And then when you exhale, sink into your knees and find the heat of Utkatasana, chair pose. Lift the front of the belly just so we're very contained in the center, and then drop the shoulders down out of the ears. Take one more giant breath. When your exhale, come straighten your legs and fold. Halfway up with your inhale, and then again fold. Good, fingertips to the floor, right foot's gonna step back. We're gonna stay light on our fingertips. So if blocks were handy to you and you felt like they gave you any extra space, you could bring blocks under your fingertips to help you find this lightness. You're gonna really pick up through the strength of your back leg, lift the belly so that you're not collapsing on the front thigh, and then lead the chest forward so your shoulders pull back from your ears. One more giant breath. Good, with an exhale, both hands are gonna plant to the floor. And what I'd love you to try to do is sneak your left knee behind the back of your left upper arm so you can more or less start to push your kneecap into the space behind your armpit, into your tricep. Now lifting some strength through your right leg, you're gonna try to squeeze the hips up just high enough that you could lift these left toes. And then quietly, with control, you're gonna step this left foot back to find plank pose. Good, take one more big breath, holding the plank. And when your exhale comes, hips come high, downward facing dog. So from your downward dog, you're gonna look forward. Bring your hand, your right hand, pardon me, a little bit further forward of your shoulder. So another hand's width, I'd say. And then slowly, we're gonna start to revolve into the outer blade edge of the right foot and inner blade edge of left foot, so we can lift our left arm high to a variation of side plank. Now, if side plank is not really working for you, you can always press your left foot as a tripod, the toes facing the long edge of the mat, so we can push through the strength of the left leg, keep the hips lifted. If it feels okay, lift everything brightly, lift up through the hips, through the chest, breathe one more. Good, and then look down, both hands to the earth, your hips come high, and we pull length from our wrist creases through the back of our tailbone and downward facing dog. Right leg up with a big inhale. Step your right foot through to your hands at the front. Finger stand lunge here, so you're gonna try to make some space. Pull the belly up off the thigh, direct everything away from the base of the pelvis. So we're both engaging, lengthening, and tracking back. Breathe one more here. Good, you're gonna try to plug your hands to the floor, sneaking your right knee behind the back of your right upper arm. And then using the support of your left leg, lift high on the left toe, squeeze the belly and the hips, and lift to hover these right toes. Then if it's available, step back to full plank pose, lengthen your body. Exhale, draw the hips back, downward facing dog. Big, long, beautiful breath in. Complete breath out. Look forward and bring your left hand into their hand's width further forward. Drop your hips so that we can swivel to the outer blade edge of the left foot, inner of right, and reach your right arm up to the sky. Again, you can keep your feet scissored. You can find a tripod if that's not really working for the support of your center, or you can stack your feet and lift everything proudly up. Breathe from your center to your edges, and then look down and release your right hand, pivot on your hips for downward facing dog. Big, beautiful breath in, and let it go. Left leg high with an inhale. Look forward to your hands and step it through to the front, and then push through that hand and collect the back foot up to meet it. Halfway up when you get here, fold and let it go. Good, deep bend in your knees. Inhale, lift the upper body, chair pose, Utkatasana. Draw your shoulders down out of your hips and really sink into your own warmth. Belly tracks in for one more. Good, straight as an arrow, stand tall. And then exhale, bring your hands through your heart. Okay, we're gonna find change. Inhale to lift up slow, and then exhale, find a sweet bow through your forward fold. Halfway up to lift your chest, and then fold. So what I would love is if you could bend your knees enough, you could take your peace fingers, index and middle finger, and wrap them beneath the base of your big toe. Keeping that, plant the thumb of each hand in front of the tip of the big toe, and then using a little leverage of your elbows, pull your elbows out toward opposite sides, softening the weight of your upper body over the front of your legs. Now, if you like to start to straighten the legs till you feel a pull, that'd be wonderful too, but don't overstrain here. Find the balance between your effort and your opening. Take one more nice long big breath. Now look down, release your fingertips, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. We're gonna step our right foot all the way back, and you're gonna keep your right hand drawn to the floor. Roll your left arm up to the sky in a big open twist. Take a long, full breath to space out this whole ledge of your upper chest. And then with an exhale, bring your hands back down to the floor. So we're working back through these variations of control with our step back. You can meet me back in a plank toward downward facing dog in any moment. We're gonna go through bus stops here. So bus stop number 1 is gonna be a hover with this knee toward the back of your tricep. And bus stop number 2, you're gonna try to squeeze your elbows toward one another in a variation of chaturanga, and maybe even start to lengthen out this left leg. If you can get precision with your hands, you might float the right leg. And then with control, I'd love you to step both legs back to plank and pull your hips up nice and high for downward facing dog. From the spread of your hands and the press of your inner knuckles, lengthen your tailbone high and take one more big breath. Good, look up towards your hands, and we're gonna see what we can do to place our left hand a little in front of our right. You're gonna pivot on both feet, dropping the hips over toward the left side, and as we did before, you're gonna reach your right arm high to the sky. Now, all the variations of the side plank are still available, so the tripod with the foot into center, definitely available. Stacked feet might feel good, or maybe you'll even take it to a place where you take a variation of a tree. If the toe lock, when we were folded, felt available, you're gonna wrap the big toe and try to kick the right foot to the sky. And then maybe you can look up towards your left hand and step the right foot through. And if that was crazy, that's okay. You can place your hands to the floor and just step up. I'll meet you here when you're ready. You leave your left hand to the earth and use an inhale to reach your right arm to the sky. Turn and peel your chest open to the top of your right thigh. Breathe space through the places that are starting to feel a little fatigued. Good, look down and release your hands. We're gonna try to walk it to a space that we can hug the right knee behind the back of the right tricep. Now, all of these variations are available to you, and if you can make it back with squeezing the hips up and floating these right toes in a triceps touch, that's beautiful. Or hug the elbows together and hover down, trying to extend this leg long. You might even be able to lift the back leg into a hover, and we're gonna try to step through to plank. And then to down dog. Spread the hands out so you have some control of the foundation, and then look forward so your right hand comes a full hand's width in front. Pivot on your hips so that we can find the blade edges of our feet and lift up slowly to a variation of your side plank. Now monitor the breath. You might find a place where you want to keep the feet scissored, or maybe you're going to come to a variation of the tree. At any moment, you can look down and release your hands, stepping to a lunge. If you're coming with me through the toe lock, try to lock the toe, extend the sole of the foot to the sky, and then step the left foot through to the front. This time, you're simply going to push through this foot and step up. Come halfway up when you get here, and then fold. Arms to the sky, big bright inhale. Hands through the center, come down. Good, firm through both your feet, make sure they haven't strayed from an outer hip distance. Lift up nice and high. Thread your back 3 fingers and then exhale, reach over to the right. Inhale up through center, lengthen both sides, and then tip over to the left side, exhale. Inhale, lift up through center, keep your crown lifted. Exhale to release your hands behind you. Take a slow roll open of your chest. And when your exhale comes, soften through your knees and bow. You might want to take the first couple of breaths with your hands just rested onto the back of your sacrum, or if it feels good, lengthen your fist up away from the back of your hips. Breathe and drink the space in. Good, when your exhale comes, both hands are going to come down to find the floor. Inhale, lift your chest up halfway. And then exhale, release, plant your hands, and step back to a plank pose. Strong with an inhale, and then you're going to exhale and release all the way to the mat. Awesome. When you get here, crocodile variation, you're going to fold your forearms, rest your forehead or your cheek. Breathe space and life through all the places of the body that warmed. From here, with an inhale, you're going to lift your chest up part way. We're going to go through a variation of a Sphinx pose that can keep both our forearms rested to the floor. You're going to tick-tock your left hand a little bit toward the right wrist crease and see about bending the right knee. If it's available, you're going to reach back and try to make contact with the right foot, softly drawing your heel into your sit bone. And your choices are to use the left hand to keep your chest lifted, or release the forehead down to connect to the space of the forearm. We're going to breathe here for 3. When your exhale comes, release this foot. I find it helpful to crawl back up into elbows and start the pose with the right forearm at a diagonal. So the left hand can reach back and try to catch the left foot or ankle. You can leave your chest lifted, great place to find the pose. Or let the upper chest spill. Head comes to rest. And we just draw the heel in toward us to a place that it feels manageable. Inhale, begin to lift your gaze, let go, and then slowly, steadily, we're going to log roll and turn over onto our back body. When you get onto your back, send your arms out wide in a capital T shape. Let your feet guide to the floor, and we're going to pop toward our right hip, letting both knees fall toward the right side. And when you get here, you might find that the knees have perfectly fallen, or you might find that you want something spaced between or beneath them. I really like to cross my legs. Just take a couple of breaths and let the upper body rest. Slow the breath down and make sure that your mind is here with you. Come back to your own steadiness, knowing that we can be steady in action even when it is elating and full of sensation. And we can be steady in stillness too. And use an inhale, lift back up through center and cross if you've crossed. And then let both knees fall over toward the left side. Same thing, you might find that you like to pop your hip around. And again, if there's a variation that you like with crossed legs or propped knees, please find that. See what you can do to let the vibrancy that you create through really moving your blood and your muscles help you to find this degree of release into the mat now. And just a couple more breaths here. When your inhale comes, lift the knees back up through center, and if you've crossed, uncrossed, re-square the hips. It might feel really good to hug the knees in towards you for a breath or two. And it might even feel good to bring both hands inner edge of your knees, reach for your feet or the ankles, and lift the soles of the feet to the sky in a variation of happy baby. And if your happy baby wants to rock or sway or play at all, by all means. And then when you're ready, you're gonna let your whole body stretch out along the length of the mat. And lead yourself to comfort by making sure that you're set to rest. If you need anything under your body or over your body, welcome that. I really, really recommend, even in your private spaces, to make sure that you can take just this couple moments of time to recalibrate, to let all the deep work of your muscles and your breath and your focus distill into this place and to integrate for just a couple of moments. Let the mat hold the weight of your body. Let the mat hold any of the weight of your mind. Take a final long inhale until you feel full. And then with softly parted lips, let it all go. Without moving a muscle, draw a huge full body breath into the center of you. And release it all the way to the bottom. Take 2 more like that in your own time. Moving slower than you'd like to move. Slowly bend your knees, or roll yourself off to your side and come to sit up really nice and slow. Position yourself any way that is comfortable to you. Rest your shoulders down out of your ears. Close your eyes. Take a final big breath here. And my deep hope is that we will give ourselves the opportunity to focus our attention on something that is meaningful to us, whether that's mind or body or heart, so that we can continue to open to our own steady, graceful nature. And the light that burns within me sees and deeply, truly bows to that exact same amazing light that burns within you. And I thank you very much for playing with this class with me. Namaste.